Good morning, Max. Oh, yeah, good morning, sweeties. You don't seem like your usual sparkling self today. I'm always like this before I go in front of an audience. I'm working up to it. Tee-hee. Don't get nervous, Maxie. Here, have a glass of milk. Regina! How fabulous! My sweetie pie princess! You came to watch my performance today? Of course I did. Mo told me that I should come and watch this. Mo said that? So, what kind of performance will you put on today? Let me guess, you'll fly at the end? It's not that kind of show. Isn't that right, my sweeties? Huh? I think my sweetie pie princess doesn't... Yeah, she doesn't seem to realise what's going on, or where she even is. Well, Max, it looks like it's time to raise the curtain. I'll see you later. Today I'm just a member of the audience. Fabulous. Enjoy yourself out there. Good luck, Max. You're the best. Regina's different, don't you think, Nick? Top of the morning to you. Everybody, let's get ready to get stuck in legal limbo. How low can you go? Mo? Top of the morning to you, Governor. Top of the morning? That's the ticket. And attacking the day starts with energy in the morning. The early bird gets the worm, but then again, worms lack higher brain function. Here, Max, I bought you a present. Have some milk. Oh, Ma. Thanks. So, how are you today, right? Well, I've got the feeling today I'm going to face off against the real culprit. You mean Acro? Huh? You think he did it? Be careful. He's used to putting his life on the line. Literally. He's got guts to spare. If all I've got to worry about is how thin the tightrope is, I'm used to that already. It just means I won't be able to press him like I can other witnesses. What are you going to do then, Nick? I guess today we'll just have to do without our usual psychological warfare. Today we rely on evidence. It's the only way we'll get past Acro and to the truth. You're right, but it's going to be tough. Anyways, I want you to make sure Regina sees it all today. It's important. That she'll finally have to deal with the reality of what happened to her father. You want us to make sure Regina watches? Yes, that's why I brought her to court today. What's that supposed to mean? She needs to know that when people die, they don't just become stars. I may be an old-fashioned clown, but I don't believe in people becoming stars. Court is now in session for the trial of Maximilian Galactica. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. The defense is ready, Your Honor. Very well. Ms. Von Karma, you may proceed with your case. The prosecution would like to revise its previous theory of events. What's the meaning of this? We have discovered a new witness. Should I say a new eyewitness? One that saw Maximilian Galactica fly from the scene of the crime. Order! Order! I had a feeling something like this would come up. Due to this revision, we are now prepared to explain how the defendant flews at night. An explanation of the prosecution will present if the need so arises. In fact, my detective stayed up all night creating a mock-up of the scene on my orders. Poor Gumshoe. Very well, please call your witness to the stand. Time to get to work. Or should I say, time to walk the courtroom tightrope. Name and occupation? Ken Dingling, but everyone calls me Acro. Fucking Ken Dingling. Sorry. I'm employed as an acrobat at the Very Big Circus. Where were you the night of the crime? I was in my room that night. If you look at the map, you will see the witness's room is near the crime scene. My room's on the 3rd floor. The crime scene is below my window. The night of the crime, the witness saw something quite shocking. Would you care to tell us what you witnessed? Okay. It was just after 10 o'clock and I was resting in my bed. Around that time I heard a large thump noise from outside the window. Then a few moments later I saw someone flying right by my window. It was Max Galactica. I only saw him from behind, but that's who it looked like. To be honest, when I saw that, I thought I was dreaming. The witness's testimony matches up exactly with that of the clown. If that's the case, there's very little the prosecution need add. All that's left to explain is how the defendant disappeared into the skies at night. Before we get that far, I'd like to cross-examine the witness. A foolish choice by the foolish fool who wishes to feel the foolish sadness of a sad fool. A man must know the proper timing for things, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Just like your old friend Mr. Miles Edgeworth did. Mr. Wright, do you have a problem with the witness's testimony? In the words of Ms. Von Karma, may I quote yesterday's proceedings? There is no way that actually happened. Very well. You may proceed with your cross-examination. You say you were resting in bed. All of us assume you turned the lights off in your room, correct? That's correct. But there are safety lights around outside the lodging house. It's so bright sometimes it can make it hard to sleep. If that's the case, wouldn't it be a good idea to close the curtains? I never really thought of that. Guess that means I'm off to buy some curtains. Sometimes I do make myself useful in these chambers. Ow! The witness will proceed with his testimony. Your room's on the 3rd floor, right? Yes. And you say you were resting in bed? That's correct. But you were still able to hear a sound from outside? I was indeed. Pressing Acro doesn't seem to get results. Maybe something was contradictory in what he said just now. Is there? There's a huge contradiction with the testimony that was just given. If there's a contradiction, then prove it with evidence. She's right. Let's see some evidence. Do you have any evidence to support your claim of a contradiction? I don't, do I? This... what in the world is this? Ow! You just don't get it, do you, Mr. Phoenix Fight? What don't I get? You're not going to be able to get through this some of your usual bluff routine. Your client looks ready to take off once again. Straight towards a guilty verdict. You were bluffing? I will not forgive any more mockeries made of this court. Whoops. Witness, would you mind repeating your testimony? Certainly. Oh, no penalty, thank goodness. Are you sure it was a human being? It could have been a mannequin, or perhaps a large action figure. Well, setting aside the possibility of a mannequin, an action figure is plausible. You have no need to mince further, Mr. Phoenix Fight. Testify to the truth and only the truth. That is, if you were there with you that night. I believe it was a human. Damn, I just strengthened his testimony. I wonder if Acro's statement jives with the facts. What's the matter, Mr. Wright? Nothing, Your Honor. Until I can find a clear contradiction, I should tread lightly. The light in your room was turned off then, right? That's true. I was going to bed after all. So if the light's off, you were still able to clearly see a human fly by your window? The safety lights lit things up enough for me to see. But honestly, there's only enough light for me to see the silhouette outside my window. It was the person's back, so I couldn't see the white roses on the front. Did you see any of the other symbols? I clearly saw the silk hat as well as the cloak wrapped around his body. But he dropped the hat. I'm convinced the person I saw was Max Galactica. The more I press him, the less results I seem to get. But maybe there was something fishy with that last bit of testimony. Aha! You claim to have seen the exact same thing Mo saw that night. You stand by that? What do you mean? The silk hat. What about the silk hat? I saw it on Max's head as he flew by my window. Well, you should have tried looking down out of your window that night. That would have been quite difficult considering the state I'm in. Just looking outside the window was a tough enough challenge for me. That's a shame, because you would have noticed the silk hat found on the scene. That's the ringmaster's hat, right? Afraid not. No matter how you look at it, this is Max's silk hat. Where are you going with this, Mr. Wright? Are you saying that Max has two silk hats? No. This is the handmade, one-of-a-kind model made only for Maximilian Galactica. Which means, Acro, that you've been fibbing on the stand. Order! Order! As always, it looks like someone just had to open their mouth before thinking. Are you okay, Nick? Well, I opened my big mouth and now I have to back it up. How about it, Mr. Wright? What would cause this witness to commit perjury in this court today? Your Honour, on this occasion, the defence accuses Acro himself. On this occasion? Accuses Acro? What in the world are you accusing him of? Obviously, we accuse him of the murder of Mr. Russell Berry. Mr. Wright, are you serious? Deadly serious, Your Honour. I think your trip to the circus have served you well. You seem to have learned how to try and grab an audience's hearts and minds. Your Honour, don't allow yourself to be swayed by theatrics. Trying to rouse the crowd with the smoke and mirrors is the oldest bluff in the book. Really? If you don't believe me, just look at the witness. He's calm enough for it to almost be scary. He is staying rather calm and collected. Look at this fucking bird.
That fucking bird that I hate.
Mr. Dingling, do you have any response to the defence's accusation? I don't really need to say a thing, do I? What do you mean? Everyone, take a good look at me. I can't even stand up by myself, let alone leave the lodging house. That's true. I understand Mr. Wright is just trying to help his client. But to do so by accusing me of murder of all things. See? Even a sliver of common sense makes it clear the accusation is... Words. Even a sliver of common sense makes it clear the accusation is ludicrous. She's right. Way to pick on the disabled, you heartless, cruel man. Phoenix is a poopy head. Who keeps bringing their kid? See that, Mr. Phoenix fights? If you're trying to drum up support from the peanut galleries, that's how you do it. I think that's enough of the little game. I've got a doctor's note to confirm that Acro is unable to stand under his own power. Maybe the defense is planning on making the claim to counter this as well? I can hear the defense now. Acro had an accomplice. What do you say about this, Mr. Wright? Did Acro have an accomplice? The fucking monkey. It's impossible for Acro to be the murderer in this case. If that's the case, it's natural for one to consider possible accomplices. Oh, you don't say. Not good, not good. This is not going to end well. Don't tell me you think you're going to get off easy. What? You must not have heard the sound just now. Maybe it wasn't clear enough. The sound of you falling into your own trap can be hard to notice sometimes. Mr. Wright, it seems as if you won't be stopping at Acro, but now making other accusations. If Acro did not have an accomplice, things are not looking good for you. I understand, Your Honour. Very well, let's continue. Who perchance would happen to be Acro's accomplice? You don't say! Uh-oh, this is suddenly looking very, very bad. Don't tell me you think you're going to get off easy. What? Huh? Oh shit. Foundation. Yes, Mr. Wright. Do you have any proof this person you've accused was indeed an accomplice? Oh shit. How the fuck? Mr. Wright? Yes, Your Honor. That piece of evidence is lacking in persuasive power. You didn't miss that sound, did you, Mr. Phoenix Wright? You know, it's the sound of you receiving a penalty. What are you doing, Nick? Okay. What am I missing here? I need to look this up real quick, because there's something about the way things are phrased that's not getting from my mind. Okay. Apparently it's this. Now then, this must be when we get to hear the name of the Mr. Accomplice. Not this time, Von Karma. What? You're not going to sucker me into this one. What are you blabbering about, Mr. Wright? There was no accomplice. Acro planned and committed this murder all by himself. Order! Order! What are you getting at? Way to keep them on their toes, Nick. Now I'm going to have to prove how it all fits together. I have to show how Acro murdered Russell Berry. Can you do it, Nick? Can you really do that? I know what I can't do. I can't stop now. If I stop attacking, I'm doomed. Alright, then let's do it. Mr. Phoenix Wright, if this fitness is the killer, since this eyewitness account is all lies, right? Mr. Wright, I'd like you to clear something up for me. When the crime was committed, exactly where was Mr. Dingling?
Take that!
He was obviously here the entire time. That's Acro's room. Pretty simple, huh? Acro wasn't able to leave the lodging house by himself. In that case, there can only be one correct answer. Acro didn't leave his room to kill the ringmaster. What? Are you nuts? What say you, Mr. Dingling? It's an interesting theory. That's it? Considering what you propose is impossible, yes, that's it. Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor. As the witness has stated, your assertion is impossible. As he's in a wheelchair, there's no way he could go to the scene or be the killer. You've got a point. It seems you've forgotten once again, Mr. Phoenix Wright. The defendant was clearly spotted at the scene of the crime. That's true. Mo said he saw Max, didn't he? But Maya, it's still impossible for humans to fly. Do you mind if I ask a question, Mr. Wright? What is it? I understand some of your logic. However, how do you think I killed him? If I can't leave my room, I obviously can't wear Max's costume. How did he do it? That's the next course of this legal buffet. Be careful, Nick, if you mess up here... She's right, I can't mess up here. I've got to give this one some serious thought. I'm sure that Acro killed the Ringmaster, and he did it while he was in his room, no doubt about it. Time to enlighten us all on how Mr. Dingling committed the crime, Mr. Wright. I'm going to present some evidence. So what did Mr. Dingling use to commit the crime of murder? What's that? A picture? It is indeed. The problem with it is the item that's shown in the picture. The bust? It's quite a large bust, and because it is life-size, it's also very, very heavy. Heavy? Heavy enough to guarantee a certain death. Especially if it was dropped from a third-story window. Ah? See, this is how Acro was able to kill the Ringmaster. With the force of gravity and Maximilian Galactica's ample bust. Ha ha ha, chortle, chortle, chortle. Order! Order! So you're saying the bust fell into the Ringmaster? A rather simple crime. Even if you were stuck in a wheelchair, it would be incredibly easy to commit. How could you possibly feel a wheelchair if something's that heavy? It's impossible! Well, Acro is an acrobat. He should have more than enough upper body strength to carry something like the bust. Mr. Dingling, how do you respond to these charges? Well... Acro's at a loss for words. He should be. He knows I'm getting close to the truth. Well, Acro. You can't run away from things this time. Ow! I'd fudge what you say if I were you, Mr. Phoenix Wright. What? Your Honour, the physical health of the witness is material to the case. I demand we get proper testimony from the witness himself. Testimony, you say? Von Karma. She's just using this testimony as a ruse to stall for time. There's absolutely no need for such testimony. The defence has its version of the murder, the prosecution has the right to respond. The defence's objection is overruled. Why can't he see things my way once in a while? Mr. Dingling, I'm sorry, but you need to testify about your physical condition. If you have any doubts about your ability to testify, we can request expert testimony. The witness will have no problems, however. Let's all be respectful towards him. Thank you. Oh, that woman will sink to any load to win a case. I suppose I could have lifted something the size of the bust. I have a strong upper body from working as an acrobat. Only my legs were injured. However, lifting the bust and looking out the window would have been impossible. There's no way I could have exerted that kind of force on my lower body. That makes it impossible for me to have known the location of the ringmaster's head. And thus it would be unrealistic for me to drop the bust on him, don't you think? I have no doubts in regards to this witness's testimony. It was impossible for him to lift the bust or stick himself out far enough to look. Not to mention, he could not have known the location of the ringmaster's head. A single false step could have led to even more severe injuries. That's what I was thinking. What's your opinion on the matter, Mr. Wright? I'd still like to proceed with my cross-examination. Oh, he's simply stalling. It's shameful, really. I can't let it get to me. I've got to focus. Have you ever lifted up the bust before? No, I've never actually lifted it up with my own two hands. But I should get to it, don't you think? I can't let money outdo me on this. Money? The crazy monkey has lifted Max's bust before. Please continue with your testimony, Mr. Dingling. So what have you been doing to keep in shape? Well, honestly, I've given up on training. I don't have any plans to return to the trapeze or the tightrope. You don't say. But no offense, I'm not worried about losing to you in a race or anything. Neither am I, Mr. Phoenix Fight. I wouldn't lose either, Slowpoke. I mean, Nick. Whoa, how the discussion turned to me all of a sudden. I suppose you could say I'm stronger than the average bear. And why's that? Because if I were to do that, I'd end up falling out the window myself. I still haven't got much feeling back in my legs yet. So you couldn't have thrown the bust out the window? How long do you think your recovery will take? You have to remember my nerves are severely damaged. I'm currently undergoing some extremely intensive rehabilitation, but it's still going to take a while before I'm back to 100%. Let me remind you of another very important point. If the witness was carrying the bust, he would not have been able to see out below the window. Why do you say it would be impossible? Allow me to explain. You accept if I was carrying the bust, I couldn't see out below the window. Thus, there's no way I would know the location of the ringmaster's head. Well, I suppose you've got a point. Hey, Nick. Huh? What if you turned things around? What do you think of it sort of like this? If he knew the location of the ringmaster's head, he could drop the bust. That does make sense. If only I could prove it somehow. But that could knew the location of the ringmaster's head without looking down. The box. Did he plant the box? I think I've already explained things sufficiently. If all you had to do was drop it, then it wouldn't have been a problem at all. If all I had to do was drop it, you're right, I could have done that. However, there's no way I could land a direct hit on the ringmaster's head. Kind of makes your theory a bit pointless, doesn't it, Mr. Wright? Acro is strong enough to lift up the bust. The main problem is how I could have aimed for the ringmaster's head. I wonder if he used some kind of tool to aim for the ringmaster. That's the ticket, Nick. Show him what you got. I had to be careful. I have to find something that fits perfectly with the case. I don't remember us finding any sort of tool. Maybe we overlooked something. Knew it. Acro. You didn't really need to lean out the window, did you? What are you driving at, Mr. Wright? You already knew ahead of time where the ringmaster's head was going to be. Quite precisely, may I add. Your silly hinting at things is pointless, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Enough stalling. Show us some evidence. But I did such a good job hinting. Yes. Hurry up and explain things, Mr. Wright. Maybe you should take a look at this. The key point here being in the wooden box. The same wooden box the victim was found... Oops. The same wooden box the victim was found hunched over? The same. The question is, who placed the wooden box there? Who? When Ben and company saw the ringmaster, they didn't see him holding the box. Which means, this wooden box was already placed at the scene of the crime. I have to admit, your theory makes a lot of sense. The moment the box came falling down was exactly the same moment the ringmaster lifted this wooden box. Which means that the answer to all these questions is now crystal clear. You mean... If the box were to fall upon the point marked out by the wooden box, there'd be no way it could miss the head of the victim. No. Order! 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 This is unbelievable! Finally, some of these loose ends are starting to tie themselves up. Now I just gotta keep going. There's only one way to go from here. Forward. So the next question I have is, who placed that wooden box at the scene? It was Mr. Dingling, of course. He connected it to a rope and all he had to do was lower it down. Ow! Allow me to dip some sense into you, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Ow! Ow! The ringmaster's head could have been anywhere when he lifted the box. That's why the box was so specially made. Specially made? Indeed. It had the most peculiar feature. Do you recall what was inside the wooden box? There was only a small bottle of pepper, wasn't there? Get on with it. Well... What's the matter? Cat got your tongue? I don't see any relationship between the location of his head and the box's contents. I think I might have outthought myself. No, Nick, you didn't think enough. Mr. Wright, you still maintain the box had some sort of special feature? Indeed. It had the most peculiar feature. The weight? The box had remarkable weight. Weight? According to the court record, it raised £20. Just to lift up this wooden box would have required... Oh, I see! one would have had to squat down and lift it with their body, wouldn't you say? That's exactly what I'm trying to point out. The box is also very large. The box also has carrying handles on either side, doesn't it? That's correct. To lift up the box, you'd have to squat down. Which means, no matter who you are, your head would be in approximately the same place. Fool! Does he even bother to listen to me anymore? I've heard what you had to say. I must admit, I'm shocked at your imaginative skills. Did you do it? Did you place the wooden box in the plaza? Mr. Wright may have a vivid imagination, but I could never have done what he's proposing. What? Mr. Wright, do you recall the original location of Max's bust? Of course I remember. It was on top of the table in the cafeteria. Then what happened to it? I'd like you to remember one important fact, Mr. Wright. I could not possibly leave the lodging house by myself. Ah, that means... You understand what I mean, don't you? I may very well have been able to drop the bust from my room. However, how would I have gotten the bust from the cafeteria to my room? You see, Mr. Phoenix Wright explains that. Don't forget, you said there was no accomplice. That's exactly how the Fitness could have carried the bust from the cafeteria. Yep, we definitely have a problem here. This is no place to get perplexed. I've got to get my wits about me and prove how things happen once and for all. Alright, Mr. Wright, let's hear your explanation. How'd the witness get the bust from the cafeteria back to his room? This is where the monkey comes into play, right? A monkey? Everyone knows Money. He loves shiny objects of any size. Oh, like when he stole the ventriloquist ring. So, are you saying the witness had a monkey steal the bust? Well, of course he didn't order the monkey to steal it. The monkey stole it on his own, and then brought it back home. Home? Money lives in Acro's room. Acro's room?! But the bust was bronze, wasn't it? Bronze isn't all that shiny. Maybe you should have put the whip down sometimes and read the court record. My, those are some very nice cards he's holding. Yes, and they're made of platinum, which is very shiny. Ah! Acro. Money is a strong monkey, right? It'd be easy for him to bring the bust back to your room. If he wasn't able to handle that himself, I'd be on the market for a new roommate. Order! Order! I said order! Miss Von Karma! Where's the bust in question at this moment? I don't know. We were searching for it as we speak. This is rather a strange turn of events. Let's say the monkey had not stolen the bust. What would have happened then? Well, in that event, something else would have been used as the murder weapon. Wait. Then you mean this bust is the murder weapon purely by accident? It's possible. Maybe Acro saw Money's mountain of stolen goods and thought to use one of them. Anyways, I think we've more than proven one critical fact. Namely, it was entirely possible that Acro was the murderer. Move on!
Mr. Wright's argument was so circular I'm still a bit dizzy. However, his argument does hold water, there's no denying that. Ow!
Don't seem so bamboozled, especially by this fraud of an attorney. Fraud? You've forgotten the absolute most important thing, Mr. Phoenix Wright. And what's that? You should know. You forgot your fraud of a magical client was spotted at the scene of the crime. Ah. There's no reason to doubt the clown's testimony.
That's true. How do you respond to that, Mr. Wright?
Nick, don't let it beat you now. I won't. This is my chance to turn this trial around. When the murder occurred, there were two people at the scene of the crime. One was the victim, Vasselberry. The other was the murderer himself. Answer this and only this, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Who was the murderer the clown saw? He saw Max's Ow! I asked who's the other person Mo saw on the scene. That evidence has nothing to do with the question. Au contraire, mon fier, it does indeed have something to do with the question. Mo said he saw Max's silhouette. But he didn't actually see the man himself. It wasn't a human being he saw.
How's that possible?
It's simple, really. What Mo actually saw that night was Max's bust. What are you talking about? Have you tried losing your brain at all in this case? The silhouette he saw was wearing a cloak. There's no reason why you couldn't attach a cloak to the bust. It would be easy to hang one off the cards on the bust's hands. Idiot! Who in their right mind would put a cloak on the bust? It doesn't matter who put it on the bust.
Wait just a minute now, Mr. Wright. Who put the cloak on the bust? That question's of the utmost importance in this case, don't you agree?
Oh, he caught me.
So let's have it, Mr. Wright. Who put the cloak on the bust?
Has to be Acro, right? I wonder, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Did the defendant wear the cloak the entire time he was at practice? So then how did the person get a hold of the cloak? Well... Furthermore, how would this person have gotten the cloak onto the bust, I wonder? Because this person was not spotted at the scene. I'm sorry? Oh, what the fuck? When she's so nice about telling me I'm wrong, it hurts even more. The famous Von Karma carrot and whip approach.
Let's have it, Mr. Wright. Who put the cloak on the bust?
Max? Oh, fuck. It's not the monkey again, is it? Nope. I've got no clue with this one. Ah, fool. Him?
You're saying it was the victim himself, Russell Berry?
That's what I'm saying.
The victim himself placed the cloak on the bust?
Place the cloak isn't really the right way of putting it.
What would be the right way of putting it, Mr. Wright?
Explain yourself.
Nick, do you really have a handle on all this? I'm fine, Maya. I'm finally putting all the pieces together. There's really only one picture I can paint anyways. Alright, so you want to know what really happened that night? Let's step back in time. Acro used a rope to lower the wooden box onto the sea. Then he attached that rope to the bust and dangled the bust out of the bedroom window directly above the wooden box. At the same time, the ringmaster told Max to wait in his room and went to the scene. Of course, at the time, the ringmaster was wearing Max's costume. Perhaps he didn't want anyone to recognise him that night. But just as he feared, he was spotted at the entrance of the lodging house by none other than the ventriloquist and his puppet, Benentrillo. When the ringmaster arrived at the scene, he bent over to lift the wooden box. That's when Acro took his chance and released the rope. Now this is when the magic happens. At the very instant the bus hit the victim,
You'll wait just a second there, Phoenix Fight. As much as you try, as much as your schemes, that just isn't true. It can't be.
It's still a little early to be getting so upset, Miss Von Karma. The circus isn't over yet.
What?
The impact of the bust on the victim threw the cloak which snagged onto the bust. The impact also caused a certain sound a witness heard, prompting him to take a look. That witness was, of course, Mo Curls the Clown. When Mo looked out his window, the cloak had already snagged on the bust. Now, having completed the crime, Acro naturally went about pulling the murder weapon up. Of course, he had no idea Mo saw the bust being raised with the cloak dangling on it, primarily because in his wheelchair he couldn't see out his window. So he just kept pulling the bust up. And that is how the magical murderer disappearing into the sky came to be.